And joining us from New York is Mike Bako. He's the sports managing editor of the website dailynational.com. Mike, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you for having me.
As our report just showed, Julia Stepanova has become the first Russian athlete to be cleared of doping allegations and allowed to compete in the Olympics. She's been training here in the U.S., was able to show that she's not been under the supervision of the coaches in Russia. How many other Russian athletes do you think will be able to clear the same hurdle?
Well, I think the number of athletes that will be able to clear this hurdle is really dependent upon just what Stepanova is doing, training outside of the corrupt system deemed corrupt by the IOC and basically every other governing body. So if athletes who are asking for this exceptional eligibility to get into the Olympics can prove that they're training outside of the bounds of Russia, Russian coaches and the Russian Federation, they'll have a higher likelihood. But when you look at someone like Stepanova, she's the whistleblower. So this exceptionalism that is attributed to her, not only is she cleared in terms of the doping allegations and passing tests, but she's also the whistleblower.
Mike, the IAAF and the IOC don't seem to be on the same page yet over the Russian athletes. Will they be able to resolve their differences before the games start in just over a month?
I think that's going to be the question that's going to fall to the IOC. If they do let in more people, more athletes than just Stepanova and a handful of others, what really are the sanctions against the Russian track and field organization? If they let in dozens of athletes and they're still participating under the flag of Russia, what are really the sanctions that are against them? So that's why I think that they want them to be very, very specific to how many they're letting in. The IAAF wants them to be under a neutral flag. IOC wants them to be under a Russia flag.
As you know, the rowing team in Russia is the latest sport to fall foul to the doping rules following the banning of their track and field team. Could any other sports follow?
Who knows? I mean, who thought that the rowing team would be one to fall under this spotlight? So I think every athlete, when it comes to Russia, you have to look back at the allegations. This was state-sponsored, government-sponsored allegations against them. So any Russian athlete will now fall under this heightened scrutiny. So whether it's track and field athletes, whether it's the rowing athletes, or watch out, archery, you never know who is going to fall under this spotlight. So I think the dominoes will continue to fall after this.
Mike, how does Russia recover from something like this politically?
I think that's going to be the question that, how many of these athletes come under this scrutiny, how many test positive leading up to the games and after the games. And now also just looking back at past athletes from past Olympics, there is new technology to go back to the Olympics from 2008, 2010, 12, so on and so forth. So how many of these athletes are going to be found to have positive tests that were not positive back during those Olympics and then moving forward? So this is a black eye for Russia. They certainly did not put their best foot forward during the Sochi Olympics, even though that went off relatively well without a hitch. They've got the World Cup coming up in 2018. There's certainly some construction issues attributed to this, but it's a black eye for Russia. And Vladimir Putin puts a lot of stock in putting his country forward in terms of athletics. So this is definitely a black eye for them, black eye all around.
Mike Bako, sports managing editor of the website dailynational.com. Thank you so much for your time.